Welcome back to another video here in the Tao of Badass membership area. Today's video is entitled Sitting to Create Attraction. So what I want to go over today is that there's many elements to creating attraction with your body language. One of them, of course, is sitting down. You probably see a lot of people overdo this. People trying to seem like they're attractive when they're sitting, or they're trying to impress women. But what I want you to do is I want you to realize what women are actually attracted to. Learn how to not overcompensate or overcomplicate that thing, and to show just the amount of comfortable, confident, dominant body language when you're sitting down that lets women know that you are an attractive, confident guy. So I'm going to go over the different areas of your body that you're going to be paying attention to, and I'm going to tell you how to shape each one of those different areas so that you are attractive to women. The first is I'm going to go over your chin or your head just in general. One of the biggest and most unattractive qualities of men is the slouching sort of head drop quality. You'll recognize that when you're around people that you feel intimidated by, you automatically drop your head so as to not be as tall as everyone else. If you're as tall as everyone else, then it's more likely you're going to be challenged, and you know that subconsciously, and so you drop your head and you sort of slouch a little bit to make sure that people feel comfortable being over you or sort of overshadowing you. So instead of dropping your head, I want you to sit up straight, and you'll realize that people don't actually, confront you as much as you think they might, but you are going to get a lot more stares and eyes from women whenever you do this. Keep your head up, your chin up, and just have a normal conversation like normal, like whatever you're having. But make sure that whenever you're talking, you're aware and you keep doing what's called checking in with your body. Checking in with your body is just going, okay, is my head up? Okay, is this right? Is this right? With your, just ask yourself this question. And if you check in every once in a while and go, where's my head? Is it down? If it's down, lift it back up again. And just make sure you keep correcting over and over and over. And as long as you keep correcting, you'll be constantly fixing it, and you should be fine. So your head is one. Make sure that your chin is about horizontal. If it's the ground is considered a plane, like a horizontal plane, make sure your chin is sort of parallel to that plane. If your chin is down too far like this, your head still feels like it's up, but you're actually tilting downward, which is a sign of submission. So you want to keep your head up. You should be looking kind of straight out like this, or maybe even a little bit down. Don't do too much like this, like you're looking down your nose at someone, because it's overcompensation, and that means that you don't really believe that you're worth something, but you're trying to pretend like you are, which is a really, really bad quality and really unattractive quality. So chin up, eyes straight if you can. Even if they start dropping their head, you're naturally going to want to drop yours, but don't do it. Next is your shoulders. You're typically going to have tension around your shoulders like this, especially when you're around somebody who you believe is more confident than you are, or maybe even a woman who you're really attracted to. So because your shoulders are scrunched up like this, you're going to be sort of feeling more comfortable because your neck will be protected. So we do this because we think we're going to be attacked physically, really, and we drop our head so our chin protects our neck as well. So this is a sign that we are very closed off, especially if our hands are in front of our chest. So what you want to do is you want to do the opposite of this. Confidence is showing that you're vulnerable to attack and not being afraid of someone hurting you. So that's really what confidence is as far as body language goes. So keep your head up, keep your shoulders back and down. You should feel a slight pull right here in your muscles as well. Just kind of sort of down like this and resting, and then back a little bit. Not too much. Again, if it's too much, it shows the same thing as if it's this way. It's overcompensation, and women find that unattractive. So once your shoulders are down as well, next you're going to keep your lower back and your core straight as possible. The best way to think about this is to think of a cord that runs straight from the top of your head up to the ceiling, and imagine that it's pulling you up like this. When you do that, you straighten your back out, and your body will be completely straight, just like a line. Of course, you don't want to be rigid, so you want to keep your shoulders relaxed and your arms kind of relaxed as well. And then after that, since you're sitting down, your leg's going to be in a different position. So there are two ways that you can present your legs. One is if your legs are open slightly. This shows sexual dominance, sexual comfort or openness. Or your legs can be crossed, which shows you're sexually closed off. Now, it depends on what situation you're trying to create. If you're with a woman who you want to believe you're not sexually attracted to, or at least you feel like she would be sort of alarmed if you were sexual around her, then you want to close your legs off at first and then open them up over time. If you're around someone who you believe is going to be very open sexually, or you're trying to sort of jump straight to that stage of seduction, keep your legs sort of spread open, and make sure that if you can, that one leg is sort of facing her, and not both. So you don't want like to be, like a greater than symbol, like your legs are like this and she's in the middle, unless you are in the early stages of seduction. So, and we'll go over how to tell if you're there in the future, in a future chapter as well. But for now, just know that if your legs are open like that and sort of spread out, maybe about this far, let's say, apart, maybe a little bit more in that area, then you are going to be considered sexually open to whoever's there. And if it's crossed, people are going to conceive you as being someone who's kind of harder to get sexually. Women who are typically really used to attracting men with their sexuality or with their physique or their body are going to be more receptive to a guy who is, or more sort of crazy over a guy who crosses his legs because he's not so sexually open, than they are to a guy who's totally open and is trying to be dominant. The reason why is because they're used to manipulating men, and if you are a guy who just says, hey, this girl likes me, I'm going to open up and get her immediately, then you've failed that test. And so sort of go back and forth on that and try to calibrate it a bit. Always keep your head up though, chin, shoulders back and down, as comfortable as you possibly can. Imagine that there's a cord pulling your head up like that, and you'll be pretty much straight. Now, one thing I do is whenever I cross my legs, it pulls my back up so I can sit up straight. If I'm not crossing my legs, it's very difficult for me to sit up straight. It makes me feel very rigid. And if I'm in rapport, I'm going to be leaning forward, but my back is still going to be straight. So instead of like slouching over like this and bringing my shoulders forward, which is what most guys do, my shoulders will still be back and down, but I'll be leaning a little bit forward like that. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you have these different elements always like that. If you are leaning back a bit, you can spread out. You can do this with your arms, whatever you want. Take up as much space as you'd like. You don't want to take up too little space, because that shows a sign of fear or weakness, and that means typically that you have your elbows too close to your body like this, unless you're pinned down. But if there's any kind of room, just take it up a little bit. You don't have to overdo it. I've seen guys who've studied this a little bit that overdo it, and they're like lounging, like laying down, like going all crazy, trying to take up as much space as possible. And it's not attractive to women. They don't think that's attractive. It's obvious. If you saw yourself do it, you would realize that was obvious. So instead, you're going to come across like a dominant, comfortable, confident man. And the way that you do that is to think about the elements that I've sort of displayed for you now, and go ahead and practice that this week and try to get some kind of a response, and notice the difference in how people are looking at you. Notice how many people are looking at you. Notice how many women have started to notice you more, and what kind of reactions you get from women whenever you look up and smile at them. So try that out this week. Comment below with what happens. If you have any ideas or questions as well, comment with those, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.